listen, we did not schedule this because we don't think you guys are going to be a very, very good football team. He understood what I meant.
Yeah.
But we know they'll come ready to play, and it should be an exciting Saturday.
We are talking with Florida A&M head coach James Colzie as we welcome you back. Coach Colzie, your team, man, there were some opportunities there early in the season. You had Alabama State on their homecoming. You took care of business there, and it's always been the last few years Jackson State, Florida A&M, Jackson State, and you took care of business there, put yourself in position. Just talk about that season you had coming off of the year before, winning the whole thing, the division, the SWAC, and Celebration Bowl.
Well, I mean, obviously we didn't get to the standard is winning the championship, and then you have you feel like you're in a good spot against Jackson State. You're up a point with about 3 minutes left in the game, and you had to get a first down, and we didn't, and ultimately that not getting the first down, we had a turnover. They scooped and scored and completely turned the game around. So, but I think overall, when you look at last year, right, we didn't meet expectations. So the goal this year is to get back to that point, right? So, I know last year around this time, January 1st of 2024, we were going through a transition. Head coach, which way we're going to go, which way we're not going to go. Where this year, January 1st of 2025, man, we're fully loaded as far as what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and where we're going to do it. So, had a great job of great spring. We had great spring game, spring practice, lifts. This entire summer, we've been with about 100 and 105 guys there in the summer. So, the guys are locked in. Definitely humbled as far as what happened last year, but they're definitely ready to go for this year.
What was that like during 2024 when you're going through all that?
It's some highs and some lows, right? It's kind of the way our season was. But I think again we learned a lot from each other. Learned a lot about myself. Obviously being able to make some changes to the staff to get the staff where I needed it to be. So excited and happy about that. And again, it has been a great spring, summer. We're excited about getting ready for this upcoming season.
Just like every team, quarterback play last year, and I think your quarterback got hurt. He had some injuries late in the season.
Yeah.
Just talk about being in position and then just couldn't quite get over that. I think you went to Prairie View and you were banged up. It was a lot going on there.
Well, we sat together last year, right around this time, and we had to find a way we were going to replace Musa, and obviously we get Daniel Richardson there, and he becomes an all-conference quarterback, right? But the biggest thing one of the things we learned and talked about is obviously making sure we have depth at that position as well, right? We go to Prairie View, he gets knocked out the second play of the game, and you can kind of just feel our sideline deflate a little bit because of you're losing at the end of the day, you're losing one of your best players. So with that in mind, knowing that we need to make sure we take care of that position, we brought in 2 or 3 guys from the portal, guys that we can feel that'll fill the void if anything does happen. Knock on wood, but we thought depth was extremely important, not just at that position, but all of them.
So what's the key to improvement? Offense, defense? What do you think needs to improve more?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at last year's team, we needed to take care of the trenches, right? Obviously, being a part of Coach Simmons' staff in 22 and 23, we were very, very sound and strong in the trenches. This past season, 24, I don't think we were where we needed to be, and it showed at some inopportune times, right? So this year, that was the point: take care of the trenches, get bigger, get stronger. We brought them in, and they look good. They're moving around well. So we'll see if we took care of it, but that'll be a question I think I can only answer at the end of the year.
We were talking before we went on. Alcorn's coming to Tallahassee for home. I can't even remember the last time. Well, I wasn't at Alcorn when Alcorn went to Tallahassee. That's going to be. And I was told earlier what the atmosphere is going to be like. It's nothing like a FAMU homecoming. The neighborhood's going to be packed, a bunch of vendors.
Yep.
It's going to be an awesome scene. Just talk about Alcorn coming to FAMU.
Well, it'd be a great game. You kind of look at the dates and who they're going to play, who we're going to play, who we would have played throughout the season. There's whoever wins and loses that game can probably put themselves in a good situation in SWAC standings, right?
Yeah.
And then you come away, if you win that game, you probably come away feeling a certain way about where your football team could be. So can't wait for it. Obviously it is in the middle of October, but for our football team, we got to make sure we take care of it in August and September. So when we do play that game, it's a meaningful football game.
Well, I'm sure some people are still trying to figure out what they're going to do about hotel reservations. Do we need to say good luck, or is there still something out there?
There's something out there. There's you mentioned Valdosta and Thomasville and obviously Tallahassee.
Where do you all don't stay in Tallahassee, do you?
No, we the night before we go to Bainbridge, Georgia. We'll be in Bainbridge, Georgia, which has hotels as well.
How far is that?
About an hour.
So you all go an hour.
We go an hour out, but when we come in, it's we got our police escort and stuff like that, so it's not really as bad. But it's a good spot. Somewhere to lay your head and not have to pay as much money.
and it takes away from it takes away from the distraction.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you about something else that I'm a big baseball guy.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Baseball and softball.
Let's do it.
You were an umpire for a weekend.
Right.
And there's some people that are just saying, what in the world is Coach Colzie doing? And I'm like, this is something that, and I understand umpiring is in your family.
Absolutely.
And so people were kind of taking that in a funny way. And I'm like, why? If this is something that's a passion of yours, what was the big deal?
Well, I'll say this, and I've been blessed with the opportunity. I've been an SEC umpire, SEC in the Big 12 umpire since 2006.
Really?
So that was something that has, I've been a college football coach since '99. I've been an NCAA umpire since '06, and kind of been in different spots. And we were on our spring break, and we have those week-long spring breaks.
Yeah.
And it was an SEC weekend, Mississippi State versus Auburn. And I had umpired through the year as well, but it didn't take away from anything FAMU wise, right? But you get on SEC Network, we've all seen it. I was on there that weekend, and I've been a crew chief, and just again, you get on SEC Network and people start asking you questions, and it's like the one thing as an umpire is that you don't ever want to be the distraction, you don't ever want to be the show. And this would have been the first time anybody had ever recognized me as an umpire when I had as an umpire / football coach, when I have been doing it for 15 to 20 years. But
so nobody really knew you were that.
My staff and my people that know me, yes. But just of all things, right? You pop up on the SEC Network as I think I popped up and we were doing an instant replay or a review. And my name, he said my name, and I said, "Oh, that's James Colzie." So, but I've worked the SEC championship, I've worked Big 12 championships, super regionals. I've been blessed and been around a lot of. I've done some good things in that field, and but I never wanted to ever take away from being head football coach at Florida A&M, which is the most important thing, and that's the number one thing for me. And so again, you get to be an umpire, not to be a distraction. I felt I was becoming one, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah, I just me as a fan, I just I like to bowl.
I got you.
So if bowling takes away from me broadcasting the game, I understand.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to let that happen.
Never.
During the off season, if
Never.
I bowl in a tournament, which I have, is no problem.
Never.
But I guess was it because you was during your spring break?
It was during the spring break. It was over the weekend, right? So SEC always has a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series, right? They normally go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the weekend that I did was Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that Monday night game was on TV. And normally during the year, during those Mondays, not a lot going on. So, hey, and we were on spring break. So, hey, it is what it is. Now, again, if I would have went 10-2 or 11-1, the conversation may have been a little different. But we went 7-5 and 5-3. It's like, where the hell is Coach Colzie? What's he doing? So it is what it is. No big deal.
I absolutely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that assessment. I think if you all were 13-0, nobody would have said a word. But if you're 2-11, of course that's going to come up.
Conversation is different. So I was okay. I mean, it wasn't something that I fought for. Hey, it was done. Hey, no problem. Let's get back to spring practice. We had a spring game. Didn't miss anything, and so all was well after that.
Did you got some games coming up?
No, we're done. I mean, season's over with, right? I
say next year.
Well, now, that's kind of when the schedule is kind of determined. You know what I mean? People are asking me if I'm going to do it or not. Right now, I won't be doing anything next year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the key to getting back on top?
Taking care of the trenches. Those big guys that we got there, Big Davion Westmoreland and Ashton Grable, those guys are going to have to dominate the trenches against some really, really good football teams. And the skill at this conference and the different teams, everyone's got guys that can run and, quarterbacks that can throw and receivers that can catch. And but the winner of this league, and I think where Jackson State had their success last year, they were great up front. And if you want to win the SWAC championship, you got to be great up front.
Coach, we appreciate it.
Absolutely appreciate you. It's always a pleasure.
Coach James Colzie, looking forward